lovelies, you're welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Bola. Thank you so much for joining. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back again. I'm the host on this channel, The Immigrant Nurse, where we discuss everything about migration, living in the abroad, nursing in the abroad, because I am a nurse and I live in UK. All right, so today guys, I will be talking to you about agency nursing. Yeah, so let's talk agency nursing. So it's going to be like a series. So it's going to be like 3 videos or 4 videos about agency nursing, everything you need to know, ideas, which is starting today. All right, if you're yet to subscribe to this channel at this point, please hit the red subscribe button down below so that you don't miss out on any of the videos that I upload. The first thing I'm going to be talking about in this series is what is agency nursing, pros and cons of being an agency nurse, advantages, disadvantage, salary range, every basic thing you need to know or have an idea of if you're planning to become an agency nurse. Yeah, that is everything I'll be discussing in this video. So if that's something that you feel might catch your interest, please stay tuned, don't go anywhere. So first question, what is agency nursing? Agency nursing is a form of nursing that allows you to pick temporary roles to work for hospitals so as to help cover up for staff shortages. So as an agency nurse, what you are doing is you are working for another hospital other than your own primary employer, just to help fill up spaces as required and as needed. So it's a PRN form of nursing. Why should I be an agency nurse? You guys, it's very, very basic. The answer is straightforward. You know already. It is for the money. Basically, that's the honest truth. Another reason is for the experience, because there are some things that you will see as an agency nurse that you are not able to see or have access to in your primary place of employment. So it exposes you to, you know, different circumstances, different situation, different health related conditions as a nurse. All right, so for the experience as well, it is very, very important. What's the average salary rate of an agency nurse? An agency nurse can earn as low as £25 per hour in UK, and they can earn as high as £100 per hour. Okay, so it all depends on the environment. It depends on how far you are willing to travel, because I have a colleague who actually travels like 4 hours away from our, you know, place of abode, like from our current city. She travels as far as 4 hours to work as an agency nurse, and she earns, I think, £80 per hour. They provide her with accommodation and they take care of her. Okay, so how far you are willing to travel will influence your pay rate. The type of agency you work with will also influence your pay rate. Okay, so but you can earn as low as £25 per hour and as high as £80 per hour, or even more, depending. Okay, depending on how far you've been working as an agency nurse, your negotiation power, the type of agency, and all those other factors. What are the advantages of being an agency nurse? The first advantage is that you are like a boss of your own. And what do I mean by this? You have the right to choose. You have the right to decide. So you can pick your shift compared to your full-time job where you have no choice. You just have to go to work because you need the money. But for agency nursing, you can pick your shift. You can pick your ward. You can pick your shift. You can pick the hospital that you want to work with. And let me just mention at this point that as an agency nurse, you can either work in an hospital or work in a care home. Okay, there are other establishments where you can also work as an agency nurse, but the most common ones are hospital, which is like working in NHS, or care home. Okay, those are the 2 places you can work as an agency nurse, and there's no rule that says that you cannot do either of both. So you can choose that, okay, this week I'm working in a care home, the following week I'm working with NHS as an agency nurse. Okay, there's no restriction that says you cannot work in either. It depends on what you want and what is available at the moment. So back to what I was saying, the advantage of being an agency nurse is you can pick your place of work, you can pick your shifts, you can decide when you want to go to work. So it gives you that flexibility of choice. And the good thing is you are even getting paid for it, compared to your full-time job where you are getting like half the money of what agency is paying you, and you have no choice. You have to go to work because of the kind of visa that you are on. Second advantage of being an agency nurse is the money. That's obvious. I don't need to talk too much about that. The money, you get good pay for being an agency nurse. Another advantage of working for agents for working as an agency nurse is you have less pressure. Now I'm going to explain that, especially if you are starting out for the first time as an agency nurse, because you are not a full-time staff of that organization. It can take a while before you are given access to the major work they do in that hospital. So let's say, for example, you are working as an agency nurse for the first time. You may not be able to have access to their EPMA, which is like an app that they use to serve medication. You may not be able to have access into the system. You might end up doing like skeletal work as an agency nurse, and it will not affect your pay. So that's another advantage of working as an agency nurse. Another thing working as an agency nurse will do for you is it exposes you to a lot of situation. Like it helps you to gather more experience. Okay, so you are able to see situations, medical conditions that you probably don't see in your regular place of work, because each hospital has what they focus on. Some hospitals, they focus on a particular aspect of medicine. Some hospital focus on research. So each hospital has what it's focused on, so it will give you the experience that you need, which experiences are never a waste. No knowledge is lost. It can even prepare you for that job that you look forward to doing in your nearest future. So yeah, that's another good thing about agency. That way it will boost your CV and give you the opportunity to actually portray yourself in the light of someone who has gathered enough experience that will help you in your future endeavors. Another good thing about working as an agency staff is it exposes you to people. So that way you're able to build people relationship. So you don't know, nothing is never a waste. You can meet people in other hospitals as an agency nurse that you are able to build relationship with, especially if you are being posted to the same hospital or care home or organization over and over and over again. It will expose you to individuals that may give you the ideas or information that you need for the next big thing in your career. So that's another good thing about agency nursing. It also depends on you how you're able to mix, because there's just that belief that people don't like agency nurses, but if you have that ability to mix and relate well with people, you never can tell. You can actually gain information that will help you in the next big thing. I remember that when I was still at work, there's an agency nurse who came around to my ward, and the kind of things he was telling me, I'm like, really, like I didn't really have a clue about some of those things, and it really helped me. It opened my eyes to a lot of things that has contributed to my career. So yeah, you can meet people like that, and you guys will get talking and just open your eyes to see if you get what I mean. Another good thing about agency nursing is you don't have to deal with workplace politics or the dynamics of workplace politics. You are just an agency nurse. What you do is you go in, you do your job. At the end of the day, you go back to your house, and on most occasions as an agency nurse, you don't get to go to the same place every time. You can actually decide to change your place of work as an agency nurse, compared to where you work full-time, where you are always going there every time. You're having to deal with one manager, you're having to deal with one colleague that is ready to detix you or say something about you. For agency nursing, it's not like that. Most times you just have to go do your work, leave, go to another place, do your work, leave. So you don't really have to deal with the workplace politics that happens in your full-time job. And another thing about agency nursing is it exposes you to environments, different environments. What do I mean by that? As an agency nurse, you are having to travel, which is a good thing, adventure. You're having to travel to another city to work in the hospital. So you are able to see what applies in other hospitals, which will open your eyes to, if you are the one that is about development or building, doing projects or building standards, you can actually take cues from that, come back, develop some points, and point the attention of your manager to, oh, you don't have to tell them that you got the idea from here. You can just point the attention to, we can do things differently in case they are doing review or what can we do differently on our ward, and you've actually seen some good idea from where you have gone to work as an agency nurse. You can bring that cue to actually say, okay, we can do this on our ward, we can do things this way on our ward, just to change things, and they'll be like, oh, that's a brilliant idea, and before you know it, you are doing a wonderful job. And by the time you are doing your appraisal, it's going to count for you. So yeah, it gives you the exposure to experience nursing in a different world, in a different environment, give you ideas on how to build. It can even help you personally in case you are planning to work on a project, or you are trying to change or switch your career, and you've actually exposed yourself to that particular part of nursing while you are doing agency. all those things we add up to boost whatever it is you have to say during your interview, or how best to pitch yourself. And the truth is, there's an adage that says that if you've not left your father's farm, you will think you guys are the best. So agency nursing, we actually, help you to know that some things actually work better in some other areas. So let's say that in your hospital, you guys still use paperwork for most of the things that you do. Agency nursing, by the time it takes you to another place and you see that, oh, everything here is computerized, like they've utilized technology so well, you will be able to appreciate and see that it is not only like life in your place is not as better as you think it is. There's actually a better life out there somewhere, if you get what I mean, if you have an idea of what I mean. So advancement in your career also is aided by you getting involved in agency nursing, if you have an idea, if you get what I mean. Okay. Another advantage of agency nursing is your weekly pay. So some even have daily pay depending on how well you work. So let's say that you've gone to work and you've been able to fill your timesheets and it has been remitted to them, you can get paid within that week. So let's say that you have an emergency expenses to sort out, you can be sure that money is coming in to actually meet that need at the right time. So that's another good thing about agency nursing. Now, what are the disadvantages of being an agency nurse? Being an agency nurse, one of the disadvantages is that you don't work, you don't get paid. So let's say that you are sick and because of that you are not able to pick a shift with your agency, you are losing money, you are leaving money off the table, you don't get paid. As an agency nurse, you are limited to what you can do. Okay. And what do I mean by you are limited to what you can do? It is in the sense that you don't get to have access to the main application that is being used in that hospital immediately. So that means that you might need to, just work, do the regular stuffs and not really go into the details of nursing roles that you are, being posted there for, which is like a plus in a way because you will still get paid. It won't affect your pay, but there is a limit to whatever it is you can actually carry out through the course of the shift. So if you are the type that you are a workaholic, you like to work a lot, it may be somehow restrictive for you, which is something you may not like. It depends on you as an individual. That's another disadvantage of being an agency nurse. Another disadvantage of being an agency nurse is that you don't get to, have a fixed place to work. So what do I mean by that? Let's say that you've gone to a particular hospital and you'll be posted to an orthopedic ward because your primary place of assignment, you are orthopedic nurse and you prefer to go to an orthopedic ward. You can get to that place and they don't really need you at the time. So they will have to repost you to another place. If you get what I mean, they can repost you to another ward. So it can be a form of disadvantage because you have to go to a new environment where you've not been used to. Although if you want to see it in another light, it is an advantage because it's exposing you to other areas, other specialty where you can focus on and do something good.